What's up, you guys? This video is titled How to Set Fitness Goals in 2025, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about setting SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely, and what is the other one? There is no other one. It's actually just time bound. Is what timely, time bound. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so I have some notes written here in front of me, and I'm going to use them to kind of help frame this conversation, as well as, helping you guys better understand what each of these aspects of a SMART goal framework really breaks down to, and give you an example from a few different perspectives. And when we talk about the few different perspectives, it's important for me to start this conversation off with saying you need to be aware of what category of health and fitness you're trying to improve. And there's probably better ways of saying that, but an easy thing I've always used with my clients is the triangle framework, and it's the triangle of awareness. So you have 3 points on a triangle, right? You have the top point, you have the left angle, and the right angle. So there's 3 corners: the right corner, the left corner, and the top corner, right? The pointy aspect of a triangle. On the right corner, let's say you scribble in a bubble right around the corner of a triangle on the right side, and you write next to it aesthetics. And then you scribble a little bubble on the top corner that says performance, and you scribble a little bubble on the left corner which says longevity, or just general health, right? But we can put longevity. All 3 of these things are different goals. You can have performance goals when it comes to health and fitness. You can have aesthetic goals, and you can have longevity goals, right? And so when we think about what each of these mean, it helps us become a little bit more aware of the direction we're trying to go. So if I tell somebody, hey, look at this triangle, what I want you to do is I want you to put a dot anywhere on this line between performance and aesthetics, performance and longevity, or longevity and aesthetics. And if somebody draws a circle at the really close to aesthetics, but on the line of performance, kind of a little bit of performance, but mostly aesthetics, we have an understanding of what we're going to do from a nutrition perspective. We have an understanding of what we need to do from a strength training perspective, and we can set our mindset to be in a place that allows us to work towards that goal, right? Aesthetics, we can decide how lean do we want to get really specific, right? When we talk about goals, what are we going to measure? Is it going to be body fat percentage? Is it going to be strictly, weight? Is it going to be strictly like how we look in the mirror? What are we using to track progress from a measurable perspective? Is it calories in versus calories out? Like, are we in the deficit we're in, or are we setting a protein goal as the measurable, or is the body fat percentage each Sunday morning the measurable, or is it all of them? When we say attainable, if you're currently trying to get down to 10% body fat in 3 weeks, and you're, at 30% body fat, and you've gotten specific, you're like, in 3 weeks, I want to be at 10% body fat. I'm going to measure it by, tracking calories in versus calories out, and check my body fat percentage every Tuesday morning. Then you get to the part where it says attainable, which is a goal that is realistic, it's achievable based on your current fitness level and resources. You come to the understanding that dropping from 30 to 10% just isn't attainable. So now we have to adjust our goal, right, to make it attainable. So, all right, I want to go from 30 to 10% in, 9 months or 12 months. Okay, that sounds a little bit more attainable. And then we move on to relevant. You want it to align with your personal values, your long-term objectives in life. So is, getting to 10% body fat actually relevant to what you want out of your life in the future? If it is, then awesome. And then we put it time-based, which is what I said, 9 to 12 months or something like that, where it's like, all right, on this day and this month, I think it's actually attainable and relevant for me to hit this goal, this very specific goal, and this is how I'm going to measure progress over the next 9 to 12 months, right? So it's really important to understand the triangle of awareness, and that might be one of the most important things that I'm going to mention today. So as a reminder, if you have a pen and paper right now, or if you're watching this content on Instagram and you have a pen and paper, what I want you to do is literally write out a big triangle on a white piece of paper, put a dot on the far right corner, a dot on the far left corner, and a dot on the far top, pointy corner of the triangle. I want you to put performance at the top, I want you to put aesthetics at the bottom right, and I want you to put longevity or health on the bottom left corner. And then I want you to put a dot anywhere on the straight lines of the triangle that genuinely match your goal from a health and fitness perspective. Am I trying to train hard and get in shape to prepare for a marathon? That's going to be more performance-based. You're trying to perform for an event. You're trying to improve your performance so that you perform well in an event. Am I trying to just get a six-pack and feel a little bit better in my skin when I look at myself booty butt naked? That's going to be closer to aesthetics. And then when we think about, I'm just trying to be healthy as long as possible. I just want to feel good and have a good quality of life until I'm 100 and be able to, have a good quality of life and be able to comfortably talk, walk, and hang out with my great grandchildren. That's going to be more longevity and health. And then we can put the dot closer to that. So I just want you to write that down, understand that framework, get an idea of the direction you're trying to go. From there, I want you to put SMART goal framework on your paper and put the letter S. Under S, put M. Under M, put A. Under A, put R, and then put T, okay? Put S dash and then write specific, M dash measurable, A dash attainable, R dash relevant, T dash time bound, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're going to look at where we put that dot on the triangle: performance, health and longevity, or aesthetics. Once we have a good idea of where we put that dot, okay, I'm leaning heavier towards performance. I want to run a marathon in 6 months. I want to prepare for that, so I'm ready to go and I can do well. That's specific. So, for example, I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours. That's your specific goal. Write that next to it. Whatever it might be for you, whether it's performance, aesthetics, or health and longevity. I want to live a long life so I can be there for my great grandchildren and be able to take them on walks. That's very specific. Longevity goal. Or aesthetics, I want to be able to see 4 out of my 6 pack, so that I feel more confident when I take off my shirt at the pool and I feel more sexy. Awesome. That's specific. Then measurable. So you need to make sure that your goal can be tracked. So this could be involving metrics like I mentioned earlier, which is body fat percentage, weight. If it's the marathon, it can be performance time. So if you're like, okay, I ran 20 miles at an average pace of this, and if I kept that pace for the next 3 miles or 4 miles, then I would have been able to hit my under 4 hour goal and tracking that over time, right? So understanding, or like how long you're able to stay in what heart rate zone and what pace, and could you sustain that for, how much longer could you sustain that? So tracking these numbers, right? Attainable. Set a goal that is realistic, achievable based on your current fitness level and resources. Attainable really is about being self-aware and keeping it in a $150 with yourself. Like, where are you at in life right now? What's your environment like? Who do you live with? Do you have any supporters? Do you have any social support? Do you have any friends? Are you lonely? Do you live in a town in buttfuck nowhere that has one gym 2 hours away? Like, do you currently have a job to be able to afford groceries? Do you have control over the groceries in your household, or does someone else buy them and you have no say? Like, you need to make sure whatever your goal is matched up with something that's genuinely attainable, so you're not making the goal damn near impossible right out of the gate. So make sure it's attainable, realistic, and achievable based on your current fitness level and your current resources and environment and the things that are available to you right now. And then relevant, it has to be along with your personal values, long-term objectives. If you don't want to run a marathon, then your goal shouldn't be performance, and you shouldn't be trying to, hold this average pace to get under a 4 hour marathon if you never plan on running a marathon. So make sure it's relevant, make sure it's actually relevant to your life and where you're trying to go. And then timely, so it has to be time-based. I want to achieve this within the next 3 months. I want to, I'm signing up for a half marathon on April 2nd. Like, it has to be time-bound. Then you can assess your current situation and, plan for progress and consider your schedule and plan out your training plan, hire a coach, get a gym membership, hire a dietitian or nutritionist, and or get some nutritional guidance or support from somebody you trust. You can, maybe you put a dot in between performance and aesthetics. Well, during this time period, maybe you're not exactly sure where you want to go, but you can choose a priority goal, like a goal that you want to prioritize more than the other. And then from there, it's just monitoring and adjusting. So to kind of quickly overview what we talked about the triangle of awareness, and we talked about making SMART goals. So I'm going to quickly break down both of those one more time for you guys, and then I'm going to share like just a slight recommendation that I have for most people when they're getting into a health and fitness lifestyle that they weren't currently participating in before. So let's get there. All right, as you can see, I'm a bit tired. So the triangle of awareness, again, you got a triangle, top point. So on this triangle, there are 3 training goals that we're gonna just put on here. Obviously, you could get super specific, but we're gonna call them performance, we're gonna call it aesthetics, and then we're gonna call it health/longevity. Right now, your goal, which one does it lean closer to? Put a dot on the triangle that matches and is most, relevant to your current goals. So now that you have that down, now let's set a SMART goal based off of what you just put there. So say you wrote closer to performance. What are you trying to perform for? What event are you currently training for? Or what situation are you currently trying to improve your performance around? Okay, now let's get specific around that. When are you doing it? Where is it at? How long do you have to train until then? When do you want to get this done? When do you want to be prepared for it? So like a very specific goal. I want to run a sub 4-hour marathon by June 2025. That's specific. So this is, again, we've talked about the triangle of awareness. We've covered that. Now we're moving on to SMART goals. The first thing in a SMART goal is you have to be very specific. So write down a specific goal. Then you write down, how are you going to measure this goal? It doesn't have to be 1,000 things. It might just be body fat percentage and body composition photos. So you're going to track by body fat percentage each week and by taking a photo of your body every Sunday morning. And these are going to be your 2 ways of measuring your progress. So specific, measurable, attainable. Okay, is this goal actually attainable in the next 6 months? If you've got a broken leg right now and you're still tending to that broken leg and trying to recover from it, and you're trying to run a sub 4-hour marathon in 6 months, is that really attainable? So I think you get what I mean by that. Assess your current situation and decide if the specific goal you set and the measurables around that goal are actually attainable for you in your current situation. And then relevant. How relevant is this goal? Are you doing it for a genuine why? I think a better way of looking at relevant is just like, what's my why behind setting this goal? What's the purpose? And making sure you have a powerful why, a powerful purpose behind this goal. And that should give you enough assurance that this is a relevant goal that's relevant to your long-term objectives and your personal values, because you have a strong why behind the goal, right? So relevant. And then timely. So it needs to be time bound. So I want to achieve this within the next 3 months. I want to achieve this in the next 2 years. I want to hit 50% of this goal by 2026. Like, it has to be time bound. And from there, what you do is my favorite thing. You habit stack. And in order to habit stack, you need to decide what actions are absolutely necessary in order for me to achieve this fitness goal. Write that shit down. You might write down like 5 or 6 non-negotiable actions that you need to execute on in order to hit this goal. From there, you don't immediately jump into trying to hit those the next day, but you choose the one that looks easiest. What would be a fucking walk in the park? What would be the easiest one of these actions to take action upon tomorrow morning and be able to execute on without too much effort? and you add that into your life. You dominate that for 7 to 14 days, and then you add in the next action, the next non-negotiable, the next one that sounds the easiest, most simple to implement, and you habit stack from there. But adding everything at once, that shit ain't gonna work, baby. So don't do that. So to kind of wrap up this part of the video, we have the triangle of awareness, which is, do I have performance goals, aesthetics goals, or health and longevity goals? Decide that. And then we have setting a SMART goal, which is a specific goal that's measurable, it's genuinely attainable, it's relevant to your life, you have a genuine why, and it's time bound. You know when you need to execute on this goal, and you know how far out that is, so that you can accurately prepare. So those were the two things I felt were necessary for you to understand how to set health and fitness goals in 2025. And then the last thing I talked about was habit stacking and choosing the simplest action you can execute on right now, today, that will take you in the direction of achieving your goals. Try to master that for 2 weeks before you add on the next action that might be a little bit more challenging, but is still attainable and is the most simple out of the non-negotiables. So, of course, I always feel like I could have explained things better, but I hope you found this part of this video helpful in regards to how to set health and fitness goals in 2025. If you want it to be a little bit more individualized, you want to be able to ask questions, you want to be able to clarify, I'm always happy to jump on a coaching call with you. I do not charge for my coaching calls. I'm happy to help you set smart fitness goals. Now, actual one-on-one coaching, providing programming, providing nutrition guidance, providing weekly, daily accountability, texts, calls, FaceTimes, that is a separate service and is a cost, but I'm always happy to jump on a phone call and help you set your goals and at least get the ball rolling. So thank you for watching this YouTube video with Coach Collis Stutzer. It's 2025, and I hope you achieve all the health and fitness goals you set out for yourself this year. Let's go.